This is the Metal Queens podcast. I'm Steve Richards. Nikki Stringfield isn't such a small town Texas girl anymore. After moving to LA in 2012, she interned at Warner Brothers Music and graduated from the University of Texas, the Longhorns. With a degree in radio, TV, and film and a minor in business, she quickly joined forces with popular tribute band, the Iron Maidens. We had Kirsten on here recently on the MQP and has been touring the world with them ever since. The Iron Maidens have been featured on AXS TV as the world's greatest tribute bands and have recently toured in support of rock legends, except throughout Europe and Zakk Wylde's tribute, Zakk Sabbath, to thunderous crowds. I mean, thunderous crowds across the U.S. In 2019, Nikki joined LA-based rockers Heaven Below and also decided to venture into the role of fronting her own solo band. She released her first EP, Harmonies For The Haunted, taking on lead vocals and songwriting in addition to lead guitars. She now resides in Dallas, Texas, when she isn't touring around the world, and is currently working on an upcoming Heaven Below album, which we'll talk about shortly, which is coming out this summer. Happy to have Nikki Stringfield join me for the first time here on the Metal Queens podcast. Welcome.
Hey, thank you, Steve. So excited to be here with you.
So let's go back to Red Oak, Texas, where you grew up. First of all, what was life like there, and how did you get into music and playing guitar?
Yeah, I'm actually back living there now. Good old, one town over. Said I would never come back, yet here I am, and I'm very happy. It's growing. It's a lot bigger than it was, but growing up, it was a tiny town. We didn't have a Walmart. We had a McDonald's. You had to drive 30 minutes to a grocery store. You had to drive all the way to Dallas to go anywhere, to go to a concert, just for anything. So I really had nobody to jam with. I had, just nothing. And I really, really wanted to be a musician and play music. And so I just knew I had to get out of there to finally get my start. But I loved it, and I'm back, and I still love it.
You mentioned you went to the University of Texas, so I'm guessing Stevie Ray Vaughan an influence on you?
Honestly, a little bit. I grew up with a little bit of blues, not a whole lot. AC/DC was very dominant in my household, along with a bunch of the 80s music, thanks to my parents. But, we were actually listening to Stevie Ray Vaughan the other day, and I have been to that statue many times in Austin.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, love his playing. That's totally not my style as much, but maybe eventually I'll get into that.
Was music in your family? Parents, grandparents?
Yeah, my dad's a guitar player too, and my real name is Stringfield, so that is, I guess runs in the veins. My great grandfather was supposedly a badass mandolin player. So yeah, I've got a little bit of it in the family.
Nothing like a good mandolin.
Yeah.
Schecter guitars. Why Schecter guitars for you?
I started playing when I was 14, and my dad took me to go pick out a guitar, and one of my favorite bands was Avenged Sevenfold and Papa Roach. So I tried out a bunch of guitars, and I tried a Schecter, and knowing that a bunch of my favorite bands played them, I played it, and my first one was a Schecter Griffin Diamond Series, and I just fell in love with it, and I've been playing them ever since I was 14.
I mentioned earlier you were an intern at Warner Brothers Music.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
I worked in the digital distribution department, and it was awesome because I was one of the only music people in the program that I was in. It was mainly film majors, so I was like the oddball. And so a bunch of, like, my first one was at a talent agency, and I was not feeling that. I was doing stuff for the girl or the woman who does Lisa on The Simpsons, voiceover stuff. So I was like, I just not feeling this. And so I got into Warner Brothers, and I was so stoked, and I had an awesome supervisor. And so I would just be typing in all of the songs and uploading all the songs for digital distribution. And then at the end of the day, I'd be done so fast. And my supervisor would be like, hey, this band's playing over here. Come on. And we'd go have a cocktail and watch whatever band was playing at at Warner Brothers that day. So it was a lot of fun.
How did you get into and get together with the Iron Maidens?
See, I moved to LA in 2012, in January 2012, when I was finishing that last semester of college. And I said I didn't know a single person. I was in this program for UT where I got to intern out there. And said the only person in the music industry part. So my music industry professor told me I needed to go to NAMM and network my ass off every single day.
Mm.
And he got me into the NAMM show, and I went by myself, not, not knowing the area, not knowing anybody, and went every single day. And through that, I met so many people. I got into my first band called Before the Morning, and through them, I met Courtney and Nita and the Iron Maidens at the time, and I just started filling in for them like a few months later, actually. So it was kind of a whirlwind couple of months there, and I went from never playing in a band ever out here in Texas to being in two bands right off the bat.
Did you know right away, when the first time you played with the Iron Maidens, there was some chemistry there?
Honestly, I was terrified because I was
Mm.
trying to learn, an hour and a half of songs on top of my other band's hour of songs, and the first two gigs were within like a week of each other. I had a lot of fun with them, and I grew up on Maiden. I love Maiden,
Mm.
and you know, they quickly, became like family. So it was a lot of fun, and I didn't realize, when I'm standing up there on the stage for the first time, I didn't have time to pull up a bunch of videos, and I didn't realize they had the eddies coming out and the CO2 and shit. So I was like, nobody warned me of anything. So it was a trip. It was a lot of fun.
Heaven Below is your other project, other band, and a new album coming out, The
Mhm.
Majestic 12.
Yep.
That is coming out this summer, right? July 22nd.
Uh-huh. Finally, we've been wanting to release this thing for forever, and all, a million tours and everything just keep coming up. So we set the date, it's happening, and we are so stoked.
What was the writing process like for that album? How are you involved in all of the songs and writing the songs? Are you the primary songwriter?
No, actually, my husband, Patrick Kennison, is the main songwriter. I started playing with Heaven Below, God, probably 2019-ish. Um, so a lot of these songs were already written for, I think, the previous album, Good Morning Apocalypse, but I do play and sing on quite a few of these songs. So,
All right, so the album's coming out on July 22nd from Heaven Below, The Majestic 12. Any touring plans this summer with that band and the fall?
man, we've talked about it. We don't have anything in the works yet. We really want to. We would love to take this on the road because it's been a long time since Heaven Below has played anything live. We just moved to Texas, so we're kind of, restarting over here. Um, and it's, Patrick plays for Lita Ford. I play for the Iron Maidens. So it's hard with our schedules to get things going because we're always on the road at different times. And so we're really hoping we can get something.
Yeah, by the way, this is rare that Nikki is at home, right? And you've been at home for a few weeks now. Very
It
unusual.
it has been glorious.
Must be.
I was on the road from basically, I think, the end of September until just about kind of March, it seemed like. So this is my first couple of weeks I've had at home to just, you know, chill a bit, work on music again. It's been great.
Any videos coming for the new album?
We're planning on it. Yes, we have, I believe, 4 singles out already that you can check out with some lyric videos. But we are planning on doing some, I think one or two like real concept videos.
So again, the album is coming out from Heaven Below, The Majestic 12. That'll be on July 22nd. So performing, and again, you perform with the Iron Maidens and going to be going out at some point here with Heaven Below. Do you prefer club shows or bigger festival type shows?
Um, I've kind of had the whole range of that recently. Like the Maidens we just played with Zakk Sabbath, and we played
Yeah.
some really nice big venues with that, which is always incredible. You go out to a sea of people in Europe. We play to some really big crowds like we played with Accept, and I love that because the energy is incredible. But, you know, in contrast, when you play to a very small crowd, you can just really feel that energy too, and you can really interact with people. And like Patrick and I, we just went on tour opening for Marty Friedman with our acoustic duo. And so we played to more intimate audiences there. So I love, I love it because it's just, you get it. It's just such a different experience.
Any favorite countries you've played in?
Mm, that's a good question. I love New Zealand. New
Mm.
Zealand has to be at the top, one of the, at the top of my list. But, we play Europe so much, and Germany is always incredible. That almost feels like a home away from home with how much we're there.
Mm. What was the music scene like in your town growing up?
Um, there were some people, some of my friends that were musicians that would play. I remember there was like a little coffee shop, that there were a couple of live shows that I went to, but that didn't last very long. Basically here, I remember, there really wasn't anything to do besides go hang out at the Whataburger, go hang out at the Walmart, go have a bonfire in a field, or go hang at your friend's house and do karaoke. There really wasn't much of any kind of scene like in my little town. And to go to Dallas, I'm about 30 minutes south of downtown, and I was too young to get into any of the clubs at that point. So I'm actually rediscovering the music scene here now that, I'm back, and it's fun. We're actually going to go see Disturbed tomorrow.
Mm.
And we saw AC/DC a couple of weeks ago. So I think I'm seeing more concerts here than I did the whole time I lived in LA, actually. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, you've seen Disturbed before, right?
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
a long time, but yeah.
They're
They're
great. Yeah, I saw this tour last year. Yeah, David's great.
so nice.
Awesome. Yeah.
Oh,
What's the
yeah.
best thing about performing live?
Oh, I think connecting with the audience, um, and just, I don't know, there's really nothing to describe playing live. I just, because now I've been singing a lot too, and there's really nothing like that. I think it's just connecting with the audience and seeing them loving and enjoying the music as well.
Did you always sing even when you were young?
Yeah, I always loved singing, always.
Was it
And so,
singing first or the guitar?
um, kind of hand in hand, I guess. When I first started playing, I liked to learn songs that I could sing along to, and I would just, I don't know, I feel like I'm a parrot. Like I can draw what I see, I can sing along with things, I can pick out harmonies pretty well. I feel like I'm a pretty good parrot with most things. But I feel like they go hand in hand for me.
All right, we're going to finish up with 5 questions for
Okay.
Nikki Stringfield. Here we go.
All right.
Any hidden talents?
Um, I guess probably drawing, but I feel like most people know that if they know me, but drawing, I would say.
Favorite cocktail?
Espresso martinis right now.
Mm.
Hmm.
First album you ever bought on vinyl?
On vinyl. Um, what would that have been? It might have been Avenged Sevenfold's self-titled,
Mm.
I think.
Good one. First concert you went to?
Backstreet Boys.
Favorite female vocalist of all time?
Mm, probably Amy Lee from Evanescence, I think.
Yeah, that's the most frequent answer I get is Amy Lee.
Really?
Yeah, it's been
Okay.
like the last 4 interviews in a row. It's been Amy Lee.
Oh,
Always
wow.
comes up number one.
Yeah. Oh,
Most
wow.
common one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I love her. She inspired me so much growing up. So,
All right, and bonus question: what do you do when you're not on the road? Any hobbies?
um, hanging out with my animals. I have a little dog and two cats.
Mm,
Uh, I guess getting back into working out. We've been, like I said, we moved here about a year ago, so we working out in the yard. I feel like I'm kind of a crazy bird lady now. I like to feed the birds and
yeah.
get flowers
Oh
going.
yeah.
Yeah,
My
so
wife's the same. Flowers, and now it's the hummingbirds here in the mountains in North Carolina. She's got the feeders out, and they're come every morning. They come. So
same.
yeah.
Uh, Same. I got to actually give them some fresh sugar water.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is Nikki Stringfield. Let me give you the socials: Twitter or X at Nikki underscore shreds. She's on Facebook. Instagram is at Nikki underscore Stringfield. She's on Patreon too, and YouTube as well. All on the all over the socials.
All over the place.
And you can get updates on the new album, which is coming out, Heaven Below. That is coming out on July 22nd. That'll
Hell
be
yes.
released, and you can check on updates on upcoming tour dates too with the Iron Maidens and with Heaven Below.
Absolutely. We'll actually, Patrick and I will be doing an acoustic tour in the UK in November.
So
So
if
we're
you're
really excited for.
in the UK in November, you can check them out on this acoustic tour as well. She's Nikki Stringfield. Hey, thanks for joining me here on the Mellow Queens podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks. And this is the Metal Queens podcast. I'm Steve Richards. Thanks for watching.